Welcome to the Season 1 live finale of Binging on Britain. I'm Katie and I'll be your hostess as we gorge on bits of British history. Let's dig in. Question number 1. What transportation device was invented first, the wheel or the boat? So the Pesse canoe is the world's oldest known canoe, and it is believed to be the world's oldest known boat of any kind. The dugout-style canoe was discovered in a peat bog in the village of Pesse in 1955 during the construction of the A28 motorway. It was subsequently radiocarbon dated, which showed a felling date of 8040 to 7510 BC, making it 9,500 to 10,000 years old. The Pesse canoe has been conserved and is now housed at the Drents Museum in Assen, the Netherlands. It is not currently on display, but hopefully it will be soon. In 2002, archaeologists in Slovenia working in the Ljubljana marsh, about 12 miles south of the country's capital, discovered an ashwood wheel measuring 72 centimeters in diameter and 5 centimeters thick, along with an oak axle, indicating that the wheel was part of a two-wheeled cart. Radiocarbon dating showed an approximate age of 5,150 years, placing the oldest known wheel to roughly 3,150 BC. The Pesse canoe is twice as old as the Slovenian wheel. Of course, future discoveries could turn this on its head, but for now, it seems as though people were sailing long before they were pushing carts. Question number 2. What is a fugu and what purpose do they serve? Fugus are subterranean structures, sometimes referred to as a fuggy hole. These tunneled structures are very rare, with only 15 known to exist. Fuggy holes are only found in Cornwall, but are similar to souterrains or earthen homes in Scotland. No one really knows what fugus were originally used for, but theories regarding their function includes ritual or religious practices, food storage, and hiding spaces during raids. There are those that believe that theories regarding religious or ritual purposes can be discarded, as Iron Age Celtic Druids were known to observe religious rites in the open air. But I don't think that this is conclusive evidence that fuggy holes didn't serve a religious purpose. Food storage is a definite possibility, as it has been common practice up until the modern age for people to utilize subterranean cool temperatures to safely store food for long periods of time. This seems like a pretty logical explanation. However, to my knowledge, no evidence of food storage has been found in any fugu, and my research hasn't found even the smallest archaeological remains of food in a fugu. It seems fairly evident that even during peaceful times, life in the British Isles had a violent streak. Tribal warfare, rebellion against the monarch, feuding families, public executions, honor killings, or ridding the king of a turbulent priest were all ways that the peace of the realm might be disrupted. But let's focus a bit on the Iron Age for a moment. At the time, England was a pagan island with numerous kingdoms. The constant threat of infighting, tribal rivalry, Roman domination, and other violent incursions meant that these folks had to find creative ways to protect themselves and their communities. Fugus could have been an ingenious solution. These tunnels were easily large enough to fit entire communities and supplies to last for weeks. As with the previous theories, there's been no evidence to support or disprove this hypothesis. To learn more about fugus, check out Time Team's new series on the Time Team official YouTube channel to watch the first 3-part episode where the team excavate a fugu using the latest in archaeology tech. Question number 3. Who was John Ardern? Dr. Ardern was born in 1307 and died in 1392. He was an English surgeon whose work on fistulas is still used today. Fistulas became an ever-present side effect of the near-constant horse riding in the medieval period, and the fact that any medical procedures, treatments, or cures have stood the test of time for over 600 years is a testament to Dr. Ardern's amazing knowledge. Question number 4. When was Westminster Abbey built? Like Rome, Westminster wasn't built in a day. A church has been at the location of Westminster Abbey since the 7th century, with the present building being started in 1245 under King Henry III. Since William the Conqueror, all British and English monarchs have been coronated at the Abbey. Question number 5. How old is the current English diadem? The imperial state crown was made for Queen Victoria in 1838, although it has been broken, reset, and restyled in the nearly 200 years since then. Question number 6. What does the Alfred jewel say, and what was its purpose? The Alfred jewel was discovered in 1693 in Somerset and is housed at the Ashmolean Museum. It has been dated to the reign of Alfred the Great and says, "Alfred ordered me made." It is likely that it was attached to a pointer used for following words when reading a book. Question number 7. Who was Robert the Bruce's queen? Elizabeth de Burgh was the daughter of King Edward I's close friend Richard the Red Earl. It was thought that a marriage would bring Robert to heel, but he openly defied Edward, and the couple were coronated at Scone on March 27, 1306. Barely 3 months later, the Scots were defeated at the Battle of Methven, and Queen Elizabeth, her sisters-in-law, and her stepdaughter Marjorie were sent to Kildrummy Castle. When the English laid siege to the castle, the women fled and entered sanctuary at Tain. However, the Earl of Ross violated sanctuary and captured the women, sending them to captivity in England. All of the ladies were treated atrociously, but Elizabeth was treated somewhat better than her sisters-in-law, as her father was still a friend of the king. After 8 years, Elizabeth was ransomed back to her husband, by whom she had 3 children before her death at the age of 43. To this day, the Moray Council pays the parish church of Cullen an annuity for the saying of a yearly mass for the Queen's soul. Question number 8. Where was the Great Heathen Army from? The Great Heathen Army was a horde of Scandinavian warriors who invaded England in 865 with the aim of conquering and occupying East Anglia, Northumbria, Mercia, and Wessex. In 878, Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, defeated the Viking troops at Edington, and a treaty was entered into which gave the Norsemen much of northern and eastern England, creating what would be known as the Danelaw. This was a win for Wessex, as they were the only kingdom not conquered by the army. Question number 9. Does archaeology ever disprove historical evidence? It does at times. Historical evidence typically consists of written records, and we all know that history is written by the victor. That is to say that people are imperfect, and their interpretation of events may color their representation of events. Plus, people lie for all manner of reasons. Archaeology is scientific, and while it does require human interpretation, it is less likely to be colored by human faults. When archaeology butts heads with historical records, an unimpassioned view must be taken to decide how they fit together, if at all. Question number 10. Why did Elizabeth I outlaw Catholicism? In addressing Parliament, asking them to pass her Act of Uniformity, Elizabeth is rumored to have said, "I would not open windows into men's souls." Elizabeth was staunchly Protestant, but she had no desire to invite religious warfare into her realm. Gloriana was lenient with Catholics until the Pope put her on notice. In February 1570, a papal bull was issued formally excommunicating Elizabeth and releasing all Catholics from any loyalty to her. The declaration called upon Papists to pull the bastard pretender heretic queen from her throne. This put Elizabeth's very safety at risk and forced her to outlaw Catholicism in order to protect her person, throne, crown, and realm. Thank you for joining me for this special live episode of Binging on Britain. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. If you have, please take a moment to rate and review it wherever you listen. If you'd like to help support Binging on Britain while getting exclusive access to scripts, live Q&As, and more, please join me on Podbean's Patreon program or on Patreon. You can also help support the podcast by purchasing Binging on Britain merch. Please be sure to join me next week for the premiere episode of Season 2. Have a great day. Bye-bye.